presenter, Wallis, and this is my thesis topic, the student perceptions toward native speaking English teachers to teaching contents in Taiwan. This is my content. Three parts. One is introduction, and second the literary review, and third is methodology. The introductions in four parts. The first one is background and motivation. Second, statement of the problem. Third is purpose of the study, and the last one is the research question. The background and motivations, according to Part 2000 and Richardson 1994, they mentioned that the learning preferences tend to vary with cultures. Students from different cultures might expect different learning style and prefer different learning approaches due to distinct cultural influence and social effect. And culture plays a key role in affecting the views of the goal of education in a Chinese or Western classroom. And that shapes the behavior of students and teachers. And the second is that Brown and Morgan 1994, they mentioned that culture influences their thoughts and values about what constitutes proper learning or teaching behavior, which in turn affect how they learn and teach the language. So next, expect their students to be more critical and independent learners. Because most of the Taiwanese students, they are passive attitudes and they shy to share and not willingly to share their opinion in class. The statement of a problem. Next, do you know next? Should be aware of Asian ESL or EFL students' learning motivations, needs, and interests in order to understand the differences in cultural values and language learning that affect their classrooms. Now, because most of the Taiwanese students, they have the native speaking teachers class, they often expect their teacher can teach how to pronounce properly, and the accents, most of them will choose American or British accents or Canadian accents. And many researchers have explored the Asian students' adjustment in the overseas academic setting, because just a few of the studies that focus in the topic that related to my topic. The purpose of the study. This study is to investigate if the way of instruction Taiwanese students prefer matches their learning experience in NAS speaking course. And the second is to explore the effect of Taiwanese students' learning expectations on NAS using questionnaires and interviews. The research questions have four different questions. One is, what are the differences between the expectations and actual experience of Taiwanese English major concerning the teaching content in an English conversation class taught by a NEST at the University of Technology in Central Taiwan. Second is, how do Taiwanese students, majors, and their NEST adjust to each other in the class? The third one is, what are the differences between the preference and actual experience of the Taiwanese English major concerning their NEST teaching approaches in the English conversation class? The fourth is, how the Taiwanese students and the NEST teacher adjust to each other in one English-speaking course. The literature review. Both of the researchers mentioned that in language learning and teaching environments, academic culture gap is regarded as an invisible yardstick. Yardstick means scale, and which shows a teacher's teaching approach, content and students' learning style, expectation and preference in classroom. And the second one is other other researchers, they emphasize that the Western teachers are more willing to tolerate students' different point of views in learning, and they more often encourage students to express themselves and think critically. Because the Taiwanese students are critical and passive attitudes. And the big in 1998, the teachers and students have a culturally responsive, culturally sensitive, and culturally rude and culturally relevant. So, another research, the field study has a certain limitations, might be not generalized to native English-speaking teachers and Taiwanese as students population as a whole. So this is a little research to the it's a small research, so it's not so we can focus on the American speaking English teachers.
Cannot be generalized to other population.
Yeah. And the methodology, 3 parts: participants, data analysis, and questionnaires. It's in the appendix A, B, C, and D. The participants will find English major students from 3 different universities, and using questionnaires and interview, and some of the native speaking teachers, a few of the native speaking teachers. And the data analysis, the tool to use is SPSS 18, will adopt to analyze the quantitative data in this study. And the t-test will use for data processing and analysis. And this is the questionnaires. The comparisons of what students wanted to learn and what they had learned in the native English teachers' English conversation classes. So you can see the first is strongly disagree, and the second is disagree, third is no comment, and fourth agree and strongly agree. In the English conversation class, I want to learn or improve mine. So this one is to search the students' skill and knowledge in an English learning field. And the second is the Taiwan University students' preference in English teaching approaches in their native English teachers' English conversation classes. This one is for the speaking class. So, like the questions, the next in class is humorous, but most of the nests are serious and they are authoritative. Yeah. And they normally follow the syllabus strictly. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So the question is 24 questions for each page. And this one is, they have to fill in the personal information. Yeah. For the interview questions, the native English speaking teachers. And this is the example for our senior thesis. So I have to think of different questions to ask while interview the native English speaking teachers. So like, what were your expectations about Taiwanese students learning in your English speaking class? Or what are your strengths or weaknesses of your Taiwanese students? And the response and answer to a question in your classroom. And are you satisfied with the students' answer responses in class? And some of the questions like that. Yeah. And for the Taiwanese students, the question does the native English speaking teacher's teaching style match your learning preference and expectation? But I think most of the Taiwanese students, they are they expect that the native English speakers should be humorous and easygoing. Yeah. That's it for my PPT, my presentation.
Okay. Did you
Yes.
show any memorable statement that you want to share with us before the other slide? Or do you want to say anything that you want to share with the treasurers since that you are one of the members for the first presentation by the end of the semester? I think that's a big change for you. So how did you manage these checks in pressure? I bet you have been under a lot of pressure this semester.
Yes.
Okay,
There's
so
a lot
what
of
did you
stress.
How do you deal with the stress? Any tip, anything that you want to share with us?
I still not. I still have to adjust, and because in fourth year in university, I'm not very often speaking English. So in my country is also because according to our states, you know. So I'm really glad that I can join in this department, and I will try really hard to improve my English.
Very good job.
Yes.
Remember that this is your first semester, right?
Yes, my first semester.
And the rest of the time you will here, so you guys are already here for two semesters. Okay, but it's not easy.
And I still have no idea to my business.
Oh,